Hello, hello, hello. Hey, y'all. It's me, SB. Actually, that was for my American family. I am Cebu for my South African family, and it is approximately 8:40 on a Friday. It's Friday. Y'all know I love Friday evenings, and I'm here tonight just to say hello, communicate with you guys just a little bit, just talk about some of the current events that are going on. But tonight, y'all, we're talking about some mentalities. We want to know, does the African American mentality, is it helpful or is it hurtful for Africa? Especially South Africa, because that's where I'm at. So I really want to know. But we're going to talk about mentalities really soon. And I'll tell you all where I got all that from and what's started all this and all of that. But we got time. But remember, y'all, if you're coming into the live, make sure you're giving me a thumbs up. I would appreciate that. I really would. Also, if you have not subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Y'all, come on now. Just make sure you do that. Mr. Gilbert, what's going on with you? It's good to see you. Listen, y'all seen my buddy Christopher? I ain't seen Christopher in months. I hope he's okay. I know my show is coming on all different times, and he's probably busy doing his thing. But if y'all have not, or if y'all do see him, say hello to Christopher for me. Yes, yes, please do. And thank you
Dearly
so much.
beloved.
That's Mr. Boss back there. Y'all hear him, right? Dearly beloved is back, y'all. We about to have everything in order. And soon we're going to have a very consistent show so we can get y'all all back into the family. Because SB Nation is still working. It is still working, doing its thing. We're just all over the nation right now. But it's coming back. It's coming back. But I hope everybody's doing well. We got a lot of things we want. I haven't seen him. Ooh, okay. I'm gonna have to send him a little shout out to make sure he's doing good. Definitely. But we got a good show for you all tonight. We're still trying to bridge the gap. We did a show last week, and we've been doing a few shows. I can imagine like one of our first shows that we did. I believe I was with Dr. Assad. Me and my family over here, my South African family, we had some discrepancies. Sometimes we don't really understand each other, and we're still trying to bridge the gap. And then on the show that we had last week with the young man, we did the traffic stop. We still trying to, bridge the gap, trying to understand each other. And I had some outstanding comments. I really, really did. And it made me think about a lot of things that I want to pose back to you all. Because, when you're doing these comments, you can't really, you don't want to really write no book, but you might, but still, it's something that we want to talk about. And so sometime during the show, Mr. Boss is going to drop the link. And if you are my South African family or my American family, I want everyone to contribute their information, their point of view, because again, we're trying to bridge the gap. Because something that I'm learning, y'all, is that we're not different. We're not very different. We grew up in different places, but we're really not that different from each other, and I don't think we are aware of it. But I'm kind of on the outside looking in, inside also, but still, I'm kind of like, I've been in America all my life. So I've observed all the behaviors that I could possibly observe, including mine. And so now I'm over here in a different place, South Africa, and I'm still observing the behaviors. And I could just only tell you guys that it's not too much difference, all right? A woman is a woman and a man is a man. So anyway, we're going to talk about that. But before I get into that, though, y'all, listen, Mr. Gilbert, how are you enjoying, please, how are you enjoying our new president, Donald Trump? I just want your opinion. How are you enjoying him? So listen, I've been paying attention. This week here, Donald Trump been doing his thing. How many days has it been? Since the 20th? We got February 20th. It's been, 60 days now? And he has really made some changes. I know some people are going to think the changes are good. Some are going to think the changes are bad. And nobody's going to actually, everybody can't be on the same page. I definitely understand that. There are people in South Africa today that are protesting Donald Trump. Did y'all hear me? There are people from the U.S. There are people from the U.S. that currently live here in South Africa that are protesting Donald Trump in the United States. Black man, what's going on with you? It's so good to see you. I hope you are well. Hey, Suge. Oh, listen, and I miss you. We miss you too. I hope you are okay. Listen, if you know what, forgive me. I realize this is the middle of the day. This is the middle of the day over in the United States, and I know you guys are probably still at work. I'm trying to make it a little later where some of y'all might be getting off early or something so y'all can participate with me and what have you. But guess what, Black Bear? You get the money line.
Money line, I'ma run it every time. Give me mine, going up, need no decline. Money line, I'ma run it every time. Give me mine, going up, need no decline.
Black man, you remember that, don't you? It is so good to hear from you. I hope you're doing well. I hope the family is well. I need an update. But definitely, if you're still working or when you get off, just chime in and say hello on that drive home. I don't know how long I'm going to be here, but it's so good to see you. I definitely want to hear what you have to say about Trump because Trump doing his thing. But let me go back because Mr. Gilbert, I asked Mr. Gilbert, how did he think Trump was doing? And he said he trash. Mr. Gilbert, you can't call your president trash. Somebody might be listening to us right now. You can't do that. You can't do that. You just got to say, I don't agree with all the policies. You know how you got to be politically correct. So anyway, listen, I've been hearing some things and it's really been making me think, but you know how you are in a, listen, it's taken me a moment to realize I'm a foreigner here. So when people speak of foreigners, you know, you really just don't think of people like yourself, right? And in the United States, there is a picture that is being painted that foreigners or people there that are there illegally are mostly criminals. That's the picture that's been painted. Y'all have seen it. Y'all know it, right? I mean, they say that we're getting rid of illegal people or legal immigrants and they're criminals. That's been, the theory of it. And I guess what makes them actual criminals is the fact that they broke the laws in order to actually stay in the country. And I definitely understand that. But y'all, I wasn't even thinking of how deep this could actually go. So I was looking at some documentary, I'm gonna call it a documentary about a young man. He was from originally Guatemala. And he had been in the United States since he was 3 years old. He came into the United States very legally, right? He was a product of a family, man and woman, husband and wife, but it was a very abusive situation. So there was a big fight, and he was taken away by his uncle. Mother's brother said, "Listen, I can't allow my sister and her kids to be abused anymore." So he just took them away, brought them to the United States. They had visas. They did what they were supposed to do. The husband was in the military. I don't know the end of it all, but anyway, they came to the United States legally with visas when he was 3 years old. He had a brother that was 1, himself was 3, and another brother that was 4. It was 3 of them. Yeah, he has been in America 30 years. His visa done expired, right? So I'm listening to him. I'm starting out. Listen, when I started listening, I was like, oh God. That was so sad. I'm glad they were able to, have a better life. And I'm listening, y'all, paying attention. Then he started talking. He's like, I've been in the United States. Y'all speaks great English. You would have never known he was from anywhere. If you wasn't looking at this, you wouldn't even know he was a Spanish person. You wouldn't know. You wouldn't Hispanic or you wouldn't know. Because his voice was just not quite like mine. Y'all know I'm Southern. But he was English speaking. And he was talking and he said, yeah, I've been in the United States 30 years. I graduated high school. Yeah, he's talking just like I'm talking. I graduated high school. I got my welding certificate. I'm a welder. I had a family. I got my girl and my 2 kids. This is him talking. He said, we started out in Florida. I ended up in California. That's where they picked him up at, right? He said, out of all those years, he did all those things. I never had a social security number. I ain't never had no driver's license. I had a car. And I started thinking. What did he say? He said he never had a social security number. He never had a driver's license. So y'all, let's just be realistic. He had been there 30 years. So let's just say 20 of those years, this man has been working in the United States, partaking in all of the goods and services that the United States has to offer. But he wasn't giving anything back to the United States. Nothing. I mean, he talked, I mean, he was like, do y'all know that welders make lots of money? He was making lots of money. He had tattoos everywhere. He was good, y'all. And he just talked about the United States and how good it was to him. But and I was with him for a minute there, y'all, but when he said he ain't had no social security number, and when he said he had no driver's license, and I'm going to tell you how he got caught. He got caught driving a car. He got pulled over, and the police officer arrested him because he didn't have a license. And they was getting ready to let him out. He had been in there 5 days or whatever. They was getting ready to let him out, and then ICE came. ICE came and, picked him up. Did the history, figured out where he was from, took him back to Guatemala. Guess what, y'all? In Guatemala, he's homeless. He has no one because remember, the father was in the military, the mother, they all moved this direction. Everyone has passed away that he would even know in Guatemala. And remember, y'all, listen, he was not a criminal because he left there at 3 years old. He had no fingerprints. Well, his fingerprints were not on file because he did nothing wrong. So they just put him out there. He's just out there homeless. And guess what he said? He's like, I'm finna make my way back to Mexico. And I'm going to do whatever I got to do, but I'm going to be back in the United States before you know it. This time, I ain't going to get caught. What? Is it that easy? So, y'all, I'm just like mixed up about this thing. I don't know how to feel because one moment I'm thinking, I want everybody to have a good life, a better life. But guess what, y'all? When you come over there or when you go over there, I'm just talking about when I came over here, but I'm over there right now in the U.S., you have to contribute to the country that is taking care of you. This man worked, he said he lived there for over 30 years. So I'm assuming probably about 25 of those years were illegal. Yeah, come on. The man was asking, why didn't you go get your visa or whatever? And he was like, I'm going back. He's like, and this time I'm going to send money over here to Guatemala, put it in an account. And just in case I get caught again, I have some money when they bring me back over here. And there you go. That's it. And then there's been so many people from Nigeria that apparently don't have their things in order also. So they just like, look, you ain't going to deport me. I'm going to deport myself. I'm going home. So they just leaving left and right. And I really want to know what y'all think about it because, listen, when I came over here to South Africa, I had to tell everything about myself. I even had to get a medical history letter from my doctor saying, listen, she ain't carrying this, she ain't carrying that, and she going to be all right. We had to do that. We had to get an FBI check, a local check. We had to do all these things. We had to pay money to do these things. We had to also get the passport. Well, you get the passport to go anywhere, but we had to do all those things. We even had to say how much money we was going to have over here, where it came from, and how often we were going to have. We had to tell all these things to come over to South Africa. Yes, it's a process, but we did that, and we're here legally. And I just think that they now know that, these people are here, and they're going to contribute, or they're going to be fine. I don't have to, listen, they're not criminals. They're not going to take from our system. This is what you want in your country. These people are going to contribute. But when you got people that have lived in your country for 30 years, 25 being illegal, it makes you kind of think about it. And then, y'all, it's so many of them. It was so many of them. It was 51 on a plane, 50 people on a plane going back to Jamaica, all illegal, living in the United States. So it's really bugging me out. It's tripping me out because one moment I'm like, listen, they deserve a good life. They here, they ain't causing no trouble, whatever. But then I get to thinking about it. I'm like, wait a minute. You're telling me my Social Security will not be there. But in some way, shape, or form, I feel like I've been taking care of people that are not supposed to be here. And now they telling me that you've been taking care of me for the last 25 years because I ain't had no Social Security card, no number, and I've been working. So that means he hasn't paid any taxes. We've been paying mega tax. Y'all, since I've been married, I haven't gotten a tax refund. Y'all, that's been 30 years. 30 years. So for 30 years, I've been paying. I mean, bless your heart, those who get a refund. But what I'm saying is that's not right. So Trump is really cracking down, all these changes that he's making, it kind of hurts at first, but I think in the long run, that particular one will make sense. But you know what? I really don't know. But anyway, guys, when you're coming into the live, make sure you give me a thumbs up. I just wanted to touch on that a little bit. There's so many things that have been going on. Mr. Hayes, how are you? The only good thing Trump did was to take away the USAID. Now we can think clearly without being blackmailed by the NGOs. Listen, I happen to think that you may be onto something. And what I mean by that is South Africa is a very wealthy country. There is a lot of disparity that I see that I don't quite understand. There's a lot of job creation that I see, and I don't know why people are not creating it. But there's no way that you should need United States. There's no way. Now, let me say that. Maybe I should say it differently. No, I said it right. There's no way that South Africa should need the United States. Now, South Africa should be able to sell some items to the United States that they need and put a dollar amount on it and make them pay for some of the things, some of the raw material that they have here. But to have a need for the United States, nah. I really think that there needs to be some cutting of the budget around here in South Africa, meaning those that are making millions might need to make less millions and give that money back to, job creation and producing the raw materials, maybe building factories, bringing all that stuff here and not having to actually get it from the United States. Because guess what, y'all? When we bring things in here, or when you all bring things over to South Africa from the United States, it's like 30% more. I mean, do you really want us to pay 30% more? Nah, just keep it real and let the United States do them, and we figure out a way that South Africa can be the country that it needs to be, because like I said, there is a lot of wealth here. I myself see a lot of job creation. And guess what? Over here in South Africa, they are really clamping down on illegal immigration too. They really are. I don't follow the news here like I do there, but they going up in jobs and factories and all that too. Come on out with your papers. So they're clamping down. And it was, I think on a couple of days ago, there was a factory, I think a sheet metal factory that's not here somewhere, and it was a lot of men out there, and they arrested a lot of men, and here I go, I'm thinking to myself, ooh, that's a lot of jobs for some South Africans right there, some good jobs. So they are definitely trying to clean it up and get everybody in the right place. So maybe What We Know podcast, what's going on with you? How are you? It's good to see you guys. Definitely. Mr. Gilbert, what you done said that you done put R beside? Did we do something wrong? But anyway, listen, Johans, hello. How are you? As for you, is Trump close to U.S. Embassy in South Africa? Would you stay here, or would you consider going back? I will not consider going back to the United States. I don't care what Trump does. I think some of the things, like I said, I don't know if you heard this, I think some of the things that Trump is doing is very necessary. I actually love the part where he said that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. That should be number one on the list. Listen, your preference is your preference, and I really don't care to hear about it. And if you choose to live an alternative lifestyle, I really don't care to hear about it. But you're a man and you're a woman. Let's keep it simple. Why should we bring that into our political decisions? I mean, excuse me, y'all. Why should we bring that into our political arena? That doesn't make sense to me. So the fact that he put some clarity there, and they already argued about that, y'all. Okay, we ain't gonna get into that. But anyway, the immigration thing. I was, out to lunch on the immigration part, but now that I've seen and I'm hearing some of the stories, you have lived in the United States long enough. Now listen, we don't own nothing. God created it all. But he also said to us that we have to obey the laws of the land. So if you're supposed to be, if you're supposed to have certain credentials to live in a place, to visit a place, or what have you, you should definitely seek those credentials in order to do that. You shouldn't be able just to go around the system to get what you want. And I know a lot of us going to be like, well, they're asylum seekers. They just want a better life. The places they live are terrible. And I agree. I agree that they are. And, it costs money to do this and the money. Sometimes you have to reach out. There are a lot of people that would be willing to sponsor a family. If you live in a war zone, because there are some places that are just war zones, and I know people don't want to live there. I know that there's a lot of places where, in Africa where people, it's just not safe to live. I'm in South Africa, y'all. Africa is a continent. There are 54 countries here. So just note the difference. So I do realize that there are places where, it's just not safe and people don't want to, you can't really be productive and live there. And sometimes you don't have the money or the means to do certain things. You have to look into it. You can't just go around the system. You just can't, So again, I won't go back to the United States, but I don't agree with everything Trump says. Mr. Gilbert, you wanted a female leader as president. I was correcting my bad grammar. Mr. Johans says, and I hope I'm saying that correctly. If you have another pronunciation, please correct us. It's okay. You saw they brought back segregation laws in the U.S. I don't know what Trump and Elon end goal is with all the division they're causing worldwide. You know what? I'm going to be totally honest with you. I did see where there are some executive orders that have been put in place about segregation. I did not get into it, so I don't know. I'm not going to say exactly what it is, but I'm just going to say I don't know, because I haven't listened totally, because sometimes when we begin to say things, it just doesn't sound right, but it's not quite what it is. Because even with the ban on a lot of those countries, when you first heard it, Trump done banned some of these countries, and you can't even come to the United States or what have you, When you first heard it, it's like, and a lot of those countries are Africa. When you first hear that, it's like, whoa, he did what? He banned it. So, but then when you go, and I went and looked at it, red is Afghanistan. These people are at war with the United States. A lot of these people are looking for intelligence to get at the United States. And when you go to Africa, you got the Republic of the Congo. Come on, y'all. They over in the Congo, about a month ago, they beheaded 70 Christians. I'm not sure who wants to go there or what's the situation is, but it's just maybe not a safe place to go. And I think what the ban is they're banning people from those countries to come to America. I don't think Trump care where you go. But, just you have to look into some things, because some things at first glance don't sound right at all. I mean, like, what? But then when you get into it, you're like, oh, okay, that make a little sense. Because guess what? He has said that he's putting America first. And if he's putting America first, that means that he in some way is looking out for somebody's best interest. And I said somebody's. It may not be people like me, but he's looking out for somebody's best interest. So I suggest that my family, the ones that look like me, should be over there paying attention. And, hope this next 4 years go by pretty quick. I really don't know. I've already said what I need to say about the United States. We left. So y'all need to start paying attention. I've already said it. There's no need for me to say it anymore. I've even shared a warning to South Africa that, you know what? You're next. So we can do better, but we have to want to do better. Like I said a couple of weeks ago, South Africa, 85% of the people in South Africa identify as Christian people. To me, that says follower of Christ. I'm not talking about religion. So it's time for those people that identify that way to fall on their knees and pray. Because, y'all, it's all a big mess now. You know what I mean by that? It's like, at one time, before we came over here, the United States was the United States and Biden was the president and what have you. I never heard of Biden talking about South Africa. But since we've been here and there has been a change in president, Trump is all over in South Africa's business. South Africa is all over in the United States' business and China's business and Russia's business. It's a big mess now, y'all. It's just working itself out. So y'all pay attention. It's just not the way it used to be. It's very different. Iran is upset like they always are. But Trump has already said, you know what? I'm finna send some stuff over there that you might not be able to handle. But y'all know that about 2 weeks ago when he was having the sit down with the Ukrainian president, he said, I'm going to write a letter. He said, I'm going to write. No, was that? It was after that, I think. Well, anyway, he said that he was going to write a letter. It was after that, y'all. I'm sorry. It was after that. He said he's going to write a letter to Iran and tell them to, listen, chill out. Let's stop with the nuclear weapons, trying to figure it out or whatever. We don't want that because nuclear weapons, y'all understand, that's like the end. You start throwing nuclear weapons here, throwing whatever, however you want to, it's not good. The president himself has said that it's almost like the end. So he said he's going to try to write a letter to them. No, he didn't. He said he had already written a letter to them and said, let's sit down and have some communication. Let's talk about this. And he says, if they don't want to talk, then, we gotta go in strong. And guess what? Iran does not want to talk. They want Israel back. See, they think different than we do. I'm going to speak for myself. They think different than me and Mr. Boss do. I don't know how all of y'all think. But see, Iran is like, Israel got to go. I mean, they already trying to walk out end time prophecies. This is what Iran is doing. So they like, they're not even thinking like we may think. They got to go. I think Iran is the place, they're the ones that the people, they love the country so much. They'll put, the explosion on their body and they'll walk out in the middle of the street and just blow everybody up. They're like the ones that would take over the planes at 9/11 and say, you know what, if you do this job, you'll get those virgins in heaven. That's the type of people that they are. They for real about it. I'm not saying it's true. I'm not saying it's real, but that's what they believe. So, so for you to tell me, United States president, that I need to, not worried about Israel right now. We need to come to some sort of agreement. That's not really saying a whole lot because they got their whole agenda already thought about in their mind what needs to happen. So it didn't work. And I've been hearing there's been some fireworks back and forth. So, Iran is saying, I'm okay. We're going to do this. Even though they're a much smaller country, they say we're going to do this. So here we go. I don't know if y'all saw that coming or not. And then guess what? When that happens, it may or may not be countries that come out and help them. And y'all know what that means, don't you? War. Big time war. So y'all ain't on your knees yet, praying, hoping that it gets better. Things turn around. Well, I'm praying for you. So anyway, we're going to move right along. What y'all got to say to all this? He says, Afrikaners, a.k.a. white South Africans, if Dutch descent, yes, are saying we are oppressing them and their white genocide in South Africa, apparently, and this has pissed me off because they not even trying to leave SA. Well, let me just update you a little bit on that. And I'm going to tell you something that I saw. Another news, it wasn't an article, it was a news show. I don't know what it was. But a man was on there saying that there have been somewhere between, I'm going to put a good number because me and Mr. Boss heard two different things. I'm going to say nearly 100,000 inquiries from Afrikaners about the refugee status in America. So guess what? A lot of them are inquiring and trying to figure out, okay, Trump, if we do this, how will this be done and what will happen? Just inquiring. But then there's been a lot of others that said that they ain't leaving South Africa. So I don't know about that. Do you think, though, that this genocide of Afrikaners, do you think this is exaggerated? I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying I know. I mean, I don't hear about this a lot, but I'm not saying, look, they have a right to be afraid. We have been minorities in the United States all my life. So, I don't think I ever was afraid of the situation, but there's a lot of black folks in the United States that are afraid. they're not going to admit that they're afraid, but they would definitely tell you that the other race, what they think is superior race, is definitely against them, or I should say, the majority is against them in the United States. They definitely think that way because we are the minority there. So here is totally different. Here, blacks are the majority. So, it's kind of normal, I would think, for the minority to think that maybe the majority is against them. I don't know, but I would love to have a conversation about that. I would even love to speak to some Afrikaans or Afrikaners to have that type of communication with them because, that's just a good conversation because, again, we're bridging the gap, and one way to do that is to have a good understanding of what is actually going on because I hear bits and pieces. But there is a lot of people that are interested from 100,000. Maybe that may not be a lot, but I kind of think that may be a lot of people. But they're just inquiring, and I think one of the sources said what they were going to do is they were going to find some families to maybe host some of the refugees from South Africa, for a time until they, were able to get on their feet. But my question was, Donald Trump, is where's all this farmland that you giving up? Where's all this farmland that you giving up to these people? And who running it right now? I mean, who actually willingly gives up their money? I'm kind of like puzzled about that. I'm like, wait a minute. We got some farmland over in the United States that ain't nobody claimed that we could just give to South Africans? Okay.
They liars, bro. They liars.
So, it's going to get interesting. Hey, Mandrill, you already spoke to you, okay? Trump is also trying to occupy Canada. It's like every day is something new. Trump is already done. Listen, Canada just needs to just be quiet. He's already trumped them, okay? So I think he's already trumped Canada and he's already trumped Mexico. I think he's moved on to South Africa and he's already trumping South Africa. So hopefully South Africa will say, okay, do your thing because, like I said, this country should be wealthy enough, looks and has the appearance of being wealthy enough to maintain its own. So with some job creation, people, less corruption, some cameras on the police officers, some audio everywhere. Some things can happen, some things can change, and some job creation. It could turn itself around. You get more taxpayers in here. You have more. It could work. It could work where the United States is not needed in South Africa. It definitely can. America won't leave South Africa because they need all the yes. Guess what though? We could put a surcharge on it because guess what? We could put a surcharge on it. We could add some tariff to it. Ain't that what Donald Trump already say? Some tariffs. He want to add some tariffs to it. So South Africa need to be adding some tariff to their raw minerals. Absolutely, they definitely do. Thank you guys. When you're coming into the live, make sure you give me a thumbs up. I would definitely appreciate that. Hey Hank, how you doing? Don't think about Trump. He just wants. Really? I've heard that. So watch closely. So guess what? Welcome to the show. You were here last week. Thank you so much for being here. And we didn't get it right last week either, but I want to say Mulasip. Could be all wrong. Forgive me. Donald Trump is a KGB. He's going. He's getting orders from the Kremlin. Okay. I don't know about that part, but okay, listen, how much stock do y'all actually put in Democrat and Republican? Do y'all really be like, oh, they're going to change the world? What are you thinking? I mean, should we put stock into that? I mean, like, sincerely? I mean, I get that he's the president of a free country, but how much, y'all, things can change like in a minute. So we just got to be careful. JM, Trump's offering farmland in to South Africans is reminiscent of Homestead Act that gave millions of acres to whites and denied it to black. You know what? This Homestead Act, seemed like I've heard something about that. Years ago, didn't that Homestead Act actually offer it some to South Africans also? Or to everyone in South Africa, farmers included, but not many. You know what? I don't know this for sure, but y'all help me out. Are there a lot of black farmers in South Africa? I mean, is that something that we do? Y'all be honest. Just be honest. Is there a lot of black farmers in South Africa?
Dearly beloved.
Because if I'm not mistaken, that Homestead Act offered all South African farmers to come to America, and they would, like, people would sponsor them, and they could live in America while farming for a time. And I can't remember everything about it, but I don't recall there being, excuse me, I think the big deal was that no black Africans actually, wanted to do that. They didn't take them up on it, in other words. There were some Afrikaners that did it, but no black Africans that I can recall. I think that was the big deal, was like, they're not interested. So, because that would have been a very good deal. But y'all let me know, are black Africans interested in farming? So I don't know. Hunter Biden is staying in now. Trump is so furious. And I just found out that Hunter Biden's wife is from South Africa. I did hear something about Hunter Biden being in South Africa. It seems like you just never know. No, just stop giving them minerals and John Abraham. Listen, y'all, there are good people that are in America. I mean, it's just not Trump. Don't. Although he is the face of America right now, let's think bigger and broader and more people. There are a lot of good people in America. I have family there. His spouse has family. There's a lot of good people there. So we got to take care of our family as much as we can. How can I join the live? Mr. Boss is going to drop the link in just a little bit if he hasn't already. There it is there. And just click the link. It's not there? Okay, he's going to drop the link in just a moment. And when he does, you can click the link and you have to show your face for just a moment. Do you care if he's on camera? You can be on camera, and that's how you join the live. But anyway, y'all, listen, this has been a pleasure. But it's a couple more things I want to tell you guys about the current events. I did hear today also that there was a shooting, a hospital shooting in Michigan. Apparently was some employees that got, the shooter actually deleted someone in the parking lot, another employee. So yeah, that was listen, y'all, I think we're just losing it. It's getting to be a tough time. Things are getting outrageous. It's getting tough, and I think people are just more on edge than ever, and it's going to get worse. So, yeah, that was something else I saw. What else was there that I mentioned? I told you about Iran and the bombing and all of that, and y'all, Trump doing his thing. Hey, Lost in Translation, what's going on with you? No, the Homestead Act was the U.S. federal government policy to encourage westward expansion right after U.S. slavery. It's mainly benefited white Americans, not newly freed slaves. Okay. Maybe I'm talking about, what was it called? If it wasn't the home, I'm gonna look it up and see what I'm. It's something that was close to that, though. Maybe I could be wrong. Thank you so much for the information. However, the wicked is in power and they're pushing segregation. Well, you don't think the wicked has always been in power? I think, if you're talking about the United States, that's like the devil's playground and has always been. See, that's salvation is a choice. All of this is free will. You have to decide what side you want to be on. You have to. So, we can talk about that. I'm well. You look amazing. Thank you. Listen. Okay, so listen, guys. Tonight's show is talking about American mentality. Is it good for South Africa or good for Africa? Okay, my husband put in South Africa. And the reason why we're bringing this is because I want to talk about it. Because we want to bridge the gap. We want to let our family know here in South Africa that we're no different than they are. I'm seeing less differences every single day. But I really need to know, what is this mentality that you are speaking of? I really need to know. Could I just be different from you as in my thought process? Could I be different from you because I grew up across the water and I was a privileged black person all my life? Because let's just keep it real to my American family. Living in the U.S. has offered us a very privileged life. Now, some of y'all are not going to agree with it. Y'all going to be like, no, SB, we do this. The white man been keeping us down. Y'all need to stop. See, that's the only life you live, and you probably haven't seen many other things, but that is not true. And I can't claim it. I'm not going to even lie about it. When I was growing up and I was low income with my daddy and my mama living in the house that we had, I wasn't missing anything. I didn't even know I was low income. I had water every day. I had lights every day. I had food every day. I had nice clothes. I had bikes at Christmas time. We had everything we needed. I didn't even know we was low budget. Had no idea. I didn't. And that's the life of probably most of us. Now, there's going to be some of y'all that did not, you didn't have your mom, maybe didn't have your mom, or you didn't have your dad or whatever. But guess what? In the United States, most of us, the majority of us were taken care of. We definitely were. So when you are able to get away from that and you see that you live this life, you have definitely developed. You can't help it. You develop a mindset and you develop a standard of living. And some people's standards are higher than others. And some people have accomplished more than others. I can't help but tell you that this is real. It is real. So this is what has developed our mentality. I'm not going to say it's an American mentality, but it's just where we lived. We lived in a place that all our needs were actually met. Now, everybody didn't have a perfect life. I'm not even saying that we did or that I did. But we lived in a place where water and lights, shelter, you basically got that. Now, there's some incidents even now. Remember, I told y'all a story last week about the young lady being homeless and living in a van. I'm not going to say it's a new thing, but that's not a regular story. There are homeless people, but that's not a regular story, y'all. That is not. So when you say the American mentality, I'm talking to you all about this because I did a video on a traffic stop, and the young man was an American. I'm not going to say he was an American. He actually probably was a Somalian. I think somebody, corrected me and said he was from Somalia. But he had been living in the U.S., I'm assuming, most of his life. And because I think he, considered himself an American. And then it was another young man who is Jackson Coop's Corner. He was in the car with him as a passenger. And it was all about the traffic stop. Now, I did this video because me and Mr. Boss are buying a car. And we are now beginning to learn how to drive and do things like that. So we're going to be out there on them streets.
Dearly beloved.
And we want to make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to do on those streets. And there is some things that are different, but we're asking the questions. Hey, look at this right here. Look at how this young man performed at this, at this traffic stop. Y'all tell us, is this right? Help us, give us some information. So everything I'm bringing to you now is coming from that. And we got a lot of great, very good comments, I must say. But we got some that really, really made me think. And, made me think about what I'm going to talk to you all about tonight, because I really still have more questions, because I still want to know, is it me or is it you? Is it me? I was born in a different place. I grew up in a different place. I have some things that, I was privy to more things than maybe some of you all were, but I'm still the same person. And we have to just bridge that gap, because this comes with understanding now, because I don't want anybody to have a preconceived idea of this is Americans, because we are people. We're just people. Because I can find some South Africans just like some of them Americans, believe me. So we're going to talk about that. But before I do that, I want to see if there's anyone that have left any comments that I need to address before I get into tonight's topic. 70% of the lithium that is in our cell phone batteries come from, it's a lot of raw material. They said they make vehicles, a whole lot. They got gold, they got a lot of things. This is a very rich country. I'm not going to talk about the president because I don't know him that well. But from my understanding that if it was governed a bit better, then it would be so far ahead. I don't know. I don't know the alternative. They do things way different than in the United States. So I'm out to lunch, meaning that I'm just paying attention. I would love to just hear about it and just see how it rolls out. It seems like a lot of people are concerned. It seems like a lot of people have ideas, but I don't think that there's a suggestion box anywhere where I can go drop a note. I don't know. I don't think that's how it works. But anyway, I thought you already listen. Anyway, we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep going. So anyway, we're getting to that point. So that's why we spoke about the driving situation, because we are going to beginning to drive, right? So with that being said, he's doing better in the USA, had him in the headlock. Stop. So anyway, okay, so let's talk about the mentality. Let me see. I decided I was just going to look up what exactly is mentality. I'm going to get the Google definition for mentality and just see what that means. But going back to Johan's comment, it's not official yet. So it's not official yet. But yeah, we got an eye on something. I think no, I didn't show y'all, but we got an eye on something, but it's not official yet. So let's see, mentality. Let's just see exactly where we're going with that, because maybe I'm thinking it incorrectly. So mentality is the characteristics of a way of thinking of a person or group. It's the way of thinking. It's the way that I think. It's just the way that I think of a person or a group. The capacity to do the capacity for intelligent thought. That's my mentality. Now, sometimes we get these comments, oh, you think you're superior, or you got a superiority complex and all of that. Let me tell you, it was one comment that really sparked this conversation for tonight. And it's because I thought it had a lot of meaning, and it had a lot of truth to it. But I can't remember who it was, but let me just tell you what it says here. Let me give you a little bit of it. It was a very long comment, but I appreciate this person, and I thank them for what they said, because okay, so listen. It totally begins with saying, I think Black Americans have been so traumatized by their experiences with police in their own country that to mentally disengage from their experiences is going to take some time. So did y'all hear that? This person had so much empathy, I'm gonna say empathy, so much forethought of another person that she said, I feel like African Americans are so traumatized. So I got to thinking, see, I've never had any interactions. Let me change that. I've only had one. And when I had my one, I felt normal. Okay, y'all, this is no joke. I have been driving. I've been driving for 40 years. I'm going to say 40 years I've been driving. Almost 40 years. I've been driving a car. I love cars. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I drive fast. I love loud noise. I love the rumble of an engine. I love turbos. I do. So for 40 years, and I haven't been driving or expressing myself by a car that long. It's just in my latter years, I have just, loved that. So what I'm saying is I've never had a ticket. I've never had any interactions with the police. I've never been pulled over on the side of the road. I have never done that. But just so happened a year ago, it's probably 2 years ago now, my husband and I were on our way to Atlanta. And those of you all that know me know I love Mercedes, and I was driving a GLE. Love my GLE. And y'all, I had to be going almost 100. Didn't know it. In my defense, I did not know it. But I was close to 100. And I was just driving. it was at night. It was dark, and I was just driving, and the police pulled me over, and I just pulled over, and I was like, "Whoa, what is going on here?" He was like, "Where you going?" I was like, "I'm on my way to Atlanta," and he was like, "You know how fast you was going?" I said, "No," and I think he said I was going about 96, 96. And I was like, I had no idea. We was just riding and we was enjoying our ride. And see, I have this thing, y'all. Well, I always say I'm enjoying my ride. As long as I can enjoy it, I'm good. So I told him, I said, I was enjoying my ride. He was like, what? And so I was like, you gonna give me a ticket? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, ah. So I had favor that night, y'all. This was my first time in 40 plus years driving that I actually received a ticket. I received a speeding ticket. I think he reduced it to like 81. Yeah, something like that. And I want to say you know what this man told me? He said, I enjoyed you so much. He said, you were a very good stop. You pulled over off the road. You didn't, he expressed his thoughtfulness for us. He did. It was dark. He's walking up on a dark car. We in there just chilling. And anything could have happened, but he expressed his appreciation towards us. And so he reduced the ticket. I paid $120 for the ticket through the email. Through, online services. It didn't have to go back to court. Didn't have to do anything. And it was over with. Didn't appear on my insurance. Didn't appear nowhere. So that's been my reaction. That's been my interaction with the police as far as a traffic stop. So when I see this young man with the traffic stop here in South Africa, I'm wondering, and I hear about young men and women being stopped by the police all the time. So I'm questioning myself. Am I tripping? What is the proper way to do this? Because I'm in South Africa now. I want to make sure, because my interaction that I had with speeding, on my way to Atlanta may be different. I may not be able to talk to the officer like I talked to him. And there was no rude interaction, but I actually spoke to him. We actually had conversation. He actually, talked to us. So, is that proper? Should I just shut up? Because when I'm watching this young man, he didn't do any of that. There was some things I felt like should have been different. And a lot of the responses that I received from that show, I questioned because I'm thinking, wait a minute. And so then that's when this American mentality thing came up. And I'm thinking, am I off for thinking and wanting the police officer to explain to me what I did wrong? Is that am I wrong for that? Is that not a humble position? Is that not, do I not have that right to do that? And I may not. I need to know this. That may not be something you do in South Africa. That may not be something you do in Africa, period. Maybe you're supposed to, maybe these laws are written when you pull up, you be quiet and you just allow him to do what he has to do. I need to know these things. So I'm asking sincerely, what are we supposed to do? Because like I said, in the United States, you pull me over, we probably gonna have a conversation. And if you pull me over and you don't say nothing, or the first thing you say is, what color is your car? I might be like, huh? So I need to know. So I had a lot of people helping, with that. But then this one person says the interactions that we have as Americans may have traumatized us. So I'm with that because I realize that I think that we may be traumatized. Not only by our interactions with police on the side of the road, but just with different things that we go through. In America, we may be honestly traumatized because I say it here about probably every show. You guys are so darn laid back. Y'all are cool. It's like, I know y'all probably don't get high, but if y'all were all to tell me y'all was getting high on some good weed or something, I probably would be like, oh, that's what it is. I don't smoke, but I'd be like, oh, that's what keeps y'all are so mellow.
Dearly beloved.
So mellow. And I'm like, how can, because like me, listen, I go to different places, I interact with different people, and I'm thinking, how can y'all just be so mellow? Because this is like, okay, look, did you just say what I think you said? I'm questioning all this. So I'm going back to what this person has said. They helped me out because I do think that Black Americans or African Americans, we are traumatized, y'all. We are. And we're so used to living in it, it has now become our norm. It is definitely our norm. So we need help. We need help because, again, we're bridging the gap. Now, I still have some questions because I still think there's some things that need to be questioned. But y'all let us know if this is something that we should question or is it something that we should just be like, oh, okay, you know, we're going to let that fly. So that's what I'm here about now, the mentality. I'm here about to tell you guys how it is growing up as an African American. Please don't go into these topics as you will get a lot of backlash from us. Why? Things are way deeper than you think. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Come and talk to us. Listen, any information that you can bring, let us know. But I'm talking about Americans right now. Are we saying this on the right, please don't go into these topics. I'm talking about how we've been traumatized as Americans because of the things that we have lived in, not even realizing that these things have changed our mentality or we are combative. Because this person goes on and they said, Black Americans are also victims of an argumentative culture experience, and they must learn to disengage themselves from this because even though it comes off as assertive in Western culture, okay, it could really come off as being disrespectful and belittling most of the time in South African culture. Okay, so see what I'm saying? So again, the things, and guess what, y'all? That ain't no lie. I look at YouTube videos, I look at some of the things that are on social media, and I'm just not gonna lie to y'all. We got Black folks, Americans, in Walmart. They done stole from Walmart. They done stole from the Dollar Tree. They done stole from where, in other words, they wrong. Just flat out wrong. But y'all, the police officer got to wrestle with them for 10 to 15 minutes just to get them in handcuffs, or just to get them to be quiet, or just to explain to them that you're out of order. It's ridiculous. So I agree with you. This is where we're coming from. I'm honest. Listen, there's honesty. I see it. I definitely see that. But I got to also mention to you, because it's true, this person is dead on it. I mean, they argumentative, debating, even on social media. For the first 2 years, of me being on YouTube, it was a total debate about gender war, man lead, woman follow. Whose fault is it? Woman, man. I mean, always a debate about whose problem it was and who started, how we're going to finish it. No one ever coming up with a solution, or no one ever wanting to hear a solution. So you are exactly correct. You definitely are. So that has been some of our mentality, but we're trying to fix it. But I got to tell you something. The majority of the people that have come here, who have migrated from the United States to South Africa, that's a different type of person. I got to let y'all know that. Not everybody can pick up their life and move their family to a whole different culture, whole different country. Yeah, we're talking about a different person. This is not the person in Walmart, that is fighting with the police. This is not the person that is on the side of the road fighting with the police. It's not. Now, that young man, I don't know his story. It was just something that I came about, and it's just different. But the person that is here, myself, and I know a lot of them that are coming from America. There's professors, there's doctors, there's business owners. There's a lot of us that are coming this direction. It's ex-military, whatever. That's a different type of person that you are dealing with. Yes, we've come from a culture, from a group of people that have been traumatized. Yes, we have seen it and lived in it and understand the push the assertiveness. Yes, we've had to probably deal with a lot of these things in our everyday in America, but we left there looking for a different life. So we're learning, we are learning, and we got someone here I want to speak to. We're going to bring him up here. Hello, sir. Johannes.
How are you, ma'am? How are you doing?
I'm doing
Yeah, that's
well.
me. That's me.
Thank you for being
That's
here.
that's actually my first. Thank you.
So
I
tell
don't
us.
know. I don't know if there's a lag or something. Yeah.
I see you very well. So tell us.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
So you said,
Yes.
do not talk about this. Tell us what you mean by that. No, you didn't say that.
No,
Someone else
that
said
that
that.
that's not me. I was telling Sibongile that like we have to talk about our trauma in order for us to heal. If we don't talk about them, we will just be angry forever.
Yeah, we do. We got to talk about it. We definitely do because, see, my thoughts are some of the things that I've seen. I see that you all are now going through it. I would love to be helpful to say, you know what, this is a good way to handle this. Of course, I may not be able to because that may not be received. But a lot of things that you all are going through now, we've already been through. I'm not saying the U.S. is better, the U.S. is right, or what have you, but sometimes preparation or even getting your mind set to a certain standard or you deserve a certain thing, it's always good. It's not okay for anyone to live without water and lights. It's not okay. Not okay. There's no way that
Definitely.
that's okay. So I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
want
no,
any
you're
of my.
right.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was saying you are definitely right. You're right on that one.
So there should be no day that my South African family is okay with this. And I'm not saying that you are okay with this, but there has to be something that can be done because it just doesn't. This is such a beautiful, wealthy place, and there should be enough to go around. And if it's not enough to go around, please tell me why. And it's not telling me why. I'm saying take care of the people who are affected by the problem. Take care of them. But I just don't think that, I don't know. I don't know. You tell me.
You are talking with regard to the wealth of this country.
Yes.
You know, the problem, me personally, I feel like the biggest problem is in South Africa is I feel like it's corporations because like we have big corporations in South Africa. They literally control almost everything.
Yeah.
So we have mines. I'm pretty sure all over the world we have the biggest mines in the world in South Africa. I'm pretty sure. Even where I'm from in Limpopo, like my grandmama's place is literally surrounded by like three mines that are. The first one is Anglo American, which is like I'm pretty sure it's owned by USA
Mm.
because there are so many Americans there. And then the other one is um, what the, Ivan Platz. I know that one is owned by Canada. And then there's the other two. Those ones are new. And then they're literally mining everything. Like the biggest platinums they're being mined in South Africa. Like world productions. Like if there's a record of platinum, it's in South Africa. If it's gold, it's in South Africa. Literally everything. But who's controlling the mines? It's companies like Glencore, like those companies, they're like taking everything.
Mm.
Our state, of course, our state, they're getting something, but I feel like it's not enough to cover like the whole of South Africa. If politicians were intentional, they would have done it a long time ago. But I don't know. I feel like they just have to keep some people poor in order for them to thrive.
Yeah. That's difficult
That,
to
that
hear.
that's how I
Yeah.
feel. Cause like even here, where even in Limpopo, like from what I've seen, I have like friends who are like working in the mines. They earn a lot of money. Some people they literally, I know even my neighbor. I know someone who's my neighbor. That guy earns like he earns like probably 20,000 US dollars per month here in South Africa salary, and he's doing good. But some are not earning that. Some are earning probably like $5,000 a month, which is also a lot of money. But our biggest problem, especially young South Africans, they don't know how to uh, utilize. their resources. As soon as they complete schools, I mean university, and they get their degrees or masters, they will get these expensive cars. I'm sure you saw them in Senten, you saw them in Rosebank. They're driving like cars that cost like 4 million rand. But
Yeah.
most of them, they don't own properties. They just buy cars, and then they're renting. So I feel like um, we need to sit down and talk about how can we spend money less on things that don't matter. Cars are not important. I feel like a car is not important. How about we invest in property and farming, things that will actually somehow generate us income? A car, I feel like you can't say I feel like you won't be rich from doing things like Uber. I don't think so. You'll never make money from Uber. I feel like how about we invest in us? How about we invest in other black people? That's the only way for us to, and we should also stop relying on the government, because the government, of course, is supposed to help people. But the biggest problem with South African government, I was actually telling my partner this few weeks back, because they were saying, yo, that the government doesn't have enough money to cover like everything. Because like I was like, of course, because like most of our government employees, they earn a lot of money. Most of government South African government employees, they're multimillionaires. They earn a lot of money. I was like, how about we say government employees are not supposed to earn more than 30,000? I feel like it will be fair enough. Some money will be taken. Will can They can actually take some money and invest in other black young people, black or white or colored or Indians or Chinese, because we also have Chinese in South Africa. Because like, what's the point? Some people they work for the government, but they're probably holding like four positions. That person with those four positions, they might be earning more than 1 million rand a month. That's something that is wrong. That needed to be talked about in South Africa. Government employees, they earn a lot of money, which is okay, but at the expense of poor people. People, they graduate, most of them they're not employed because there's someone who's earning um, a lot of money from government, getting salary from maybe four different institutions, which is wrong. I feel like if you're working for the government, you should earn probably like 30,000 rand is enough. And then with the rest of the money, the government will be able to hire more people. I feel like it's better this way. Cut ministers, uh, these minister securities, they drive around driving GLEs, G65, G wagons. I feel like it's so unnecessary. You can't do that. You're one minister, but your security drive like 10 cars, 10 G65, G classes, Mercedes Benzes. That's unfair. That's how I
You,
feel.
I mean, I agree with you, and we have the same problems in the United States. That's not. That's just. We have the same problem. The one thing, though, I see that could be a bit different is in the United States, the federal government does supply shelter, water, lights. They make sure. But again, that
Yes,
system is taken advantage of. You're right. You shouldn't live off of that system. It should be designed to help for maybe 5 to 10 years, and then you move on with your life. Again, in the United States, that's a corrupt system also. So it is something there, but you know, it should be to help. I think everybody who needs help should be helped. Again, I don't think there should be anyone living in this country without lights, shelter, and water.
yeah,
Now, if you decide you don't
yeah,
want it, if you decide you don't want it, there are people that prefer to live homelessly. I don't, could be some mental illness, it could be whatever the situation is. But if you don't want that, it's okay. But I think that there should be a system set in place where water, lights, and shelter should be for everyone. Now, again, it has to be a system that can't be taken advantage of, or you don't allow people to take advantage of it because there are so many people that are in need. But again,
yes.
that's just something that has to be worked out, and that is going to come from leadership. That's coming from up top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, if people, if we're being honest, uh, I'm pretty sure people can back me up on this one. Our government in South Africa, they actually provide shelters for people. Like there are there are houses all over South Africa that are built by the government for people who are poor.
Okay.
And then most of the people expect. Let me just give most of these places next to Saint, for example, like Alexander. Okay, Alexander. Most people there, they're only there for work. Most of them, they're from Limpopo, they're from KwaZulu-Natal, Bloemfontein. They are not there to stay there forever. They're just there to work, and then month end, most of them they go home. Those
Okay.
people who are living in those shacks, they actually have beautiful houses in where they are from. Some of them they have mansions because you
Okay.
can see them. Some of them you can see someone from Alexander, and you're like, okay, how can you stay in a shack but you're driving uh, a M4 BMW? You see, like they just most of them they don't want to stay in Sandton because of they're like, okay, I'm paying a lot for this car. I'm not gonna be able to pay the rent in Sandton. How about I just stay
In
in
Alexander.
this in Alexander so that I can
Right.
save more money and send it back home. That's what they do.
Oh,
But
okay.
people, yeah, that like people in Alexander, most of them they just there, they go to work, they come back, they sleep. Month end, they go home. That's what they do.
So let me
But
ask you, have you had a lot of
yes,
interactions with African Americans?
yes, I was actually staying in. I'm pretty sure you know Bedford View.
Bedford View. Yes, yes.
Well, I used to stay there from 2019 until last year. But it was not Bedford View. I'm saying Bedford View because I know it's popular. I was actually staying at Orange Grove. It's just a street. You
Okay.
jump a street and then it's Orange Grove. Yeah, I was staying there. So of course I've had a lot of interaction with a lot of Americans, people from Europe, Russians. We have a lot of Russian community in South Africa, and then Canadians. Because like everyone around that area, they have a lot of money. I'm pretty sure you've seen it. So
Yeah.
like most of them, they just move from that side to places like Senton, Bedford View, Houghton. They move there. Of course, I've had a lot of interaction with them.
So,
Yes.
what do you think? Do you think that African Americans have been traumatized from living in the United States?
When it comes to the police, of course, they're always scared. I'm like, guys, you don't have to panic. South African police are like the friendliest police you'll ever come across. You can literally, if they stop you, you can say they will tell you why they stopped you. And then if maybe you've done something wrong, you can simply ask them, okay, what can I do to make sure this can never happen again? If maybe because I've seen some American they actually buying cars and then they don't get registration that day or for some time. So, but they will actually our traffic officers they will tell you how to get it faster and so that you can avoid. I'm pretty sure there's a paper that they will give you at the municipality so that you can hold it so that you can actually show that you own the car. But if you don't have that paper, people will assume that you stole it because we have a serious issue of car theft in South Africa.
And
There are some cars that are like
that's
sorry,
what we are going to go are trying not to go through. We're trying to wait for our traffic registry number before we actually, you know, register a
right?
car in our name, and
Yes,
that is a long process. So I don't think I absolutely probably know that most Americans probably don't know this. And
yes,
in the process of us learning about it, no one, a lot of South Africans couldn't help us either. We went to like
yeah,
three different driving stations, traffic offices. We
yes,
went to Midran, we went to Santon, and we went to, it was one more. And we also went to Centurion, and they couldn't help us. They didn't know. Somebody in the Midran office was like, "Oh, we stopped doing TRNs back in 2019." I'm like, "What do you mean? How can you stop?" So it's not something that everybody
mm,
knows about. So that makes it difficult. Now, I don't know that young man's situation in that video the other day, but this is
yes,
just something that me and Mr. Boss have come across that would be a challenge for us if we didn't do the research prior. And it could be the
yeah,
case that we bought a car outright, because as an American, you don't get credit. You have to pay for a car. You pay for the car. The dealership gives you the tag or gives you a paper tag or whatever, and you're on your way. You don't know that, hey, I got to do more. You think that it's going to be handled by the dealer because that's who you bought the car from. And then later
Yeah,
on,
but
go ahead.
even the dealership like can also assist you. Like you just have to like follow them, like call them all the time. They will assist you
You see,
because
it's
they know that you.
yep. They know
In
that
South
you,
Africa, sometimes you just have to annoy them, call them until they fix the issue. Because if you sit back, they're not gonna help you. They're just looking for the next customer. I know them.
exactly,
You just have to like call them all the time. When
exactly,
is my registration coming? I need to drive my car.
exactly.
The,
Yeah, you,
but they will say no, it's fine. You can drive it. But they won't be responsible if they charge you a fine. They're not
yeah,
gonna pay for it.
or
You know.
impound your
And I know,
car. How about that? How about
yes, definitely.
exactly? They could impound
Some
your
some
vehicle.
people some people they actually encourage like bribing officers. I mean, I'm like, yo, you shouldn't do that. Don't bribe officers. They say, nah, you know what, it's fine. Let's give them 200. They'll leave you alone. I'm like, guys, yeah, you can do that, but if if we wanna live in a country that's crime. If we wanna stay in a country with no crime, we shouldn't tolerate such things.
You're
Like
right.
bribing police officers, they will take it. I know they will take it, but it's wrong.
Yeah, that's not a good practice because, you know, the tickets, the money that is made off the impounding, the money made off the tickets or whatever, that goes to the country. That's what, if we,
Yeah,
I hate to say it, but if you gave more tickets, the country could make more money. I hate to say that, but, there's a
yeah,
way, that's bad, but there's a way these things could work. But if someone is actually taking bribes or if I'm offering money, you're right. That's not a good way to do it. It's not.
yeah, that's not a good way, of course.
No. But
You
listen,
know, one
go
thing
ahead.
about you, Miss Boo, I feel like you guys are not exploring South Africa properly. I feel like you should just maybe on weekends just go somewhere
Oh,
and come
yeah.
back on Monday.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
will.
you need to do that. Like, but I need people. I need you guys, since we have a bigger platform, to go to like not Cape Town, not Durban, go to other places. Like we have Limpopo, we have Mpumalanga, we have Bloemfontein.
Okay.
We also have like Northern. We also have Northern Cape. Even if nobody goes to Northern Cape, but
Okay.
apparently it's a beautiful place. But you can go to those places and because people in those places they live a simple life.
Hmm.
It's actually where most people do farming. Those places. In Johannesburg, we don't have farms. I'm pretty sure you've seen it. We don't have farms.
No, you don't.
If they say farms,
Johannesburg is like another New York. It is very busy. I
yeah,
don't, yeah, I don't do
it's
see it.
busy.
Yeah, it's very much so.
Yeah,
I agree
so
with you.
farms are like in Limpopo, in Mpumalanga, in Bloemfontein. Bloemfontein might have the most farms, and then even in KZN, in Durban, they also have a lot of farms.
Right.
In
Okay.
Cape Town, of course, they have wine farms, but I feel like people in South Africa they're only selling two places, which is Cape Town, Johannesburg, and Durban. But there's so much more. We have East London, Port Elizabeth, which is now called Gabera. So like there's a lot to explore.
I agree.
Like yeah, that
Definitely.
even like you might see a farm because even now I've seen some farms in Limpopo which cost like 2 million. I'm like, yo, okay.
Mm.
And I'm like, and I also asked my uncle, I was like, uncle, I don't understand why people are selling farms now. He was like, like most people who are selling these farms, they're like white people who are like old, and then their children, they don't want to
Oh, yeah.
do farming.
Don't
Most
want
of
to
them,
take
they
it over.
just stay in Sanchen. They like the city life. They don't care about farming. So I was
Right.
like, okay, it makes sense now.
Well,
Because I was shocked
definitely.
because there's a lot of farms that are for sale, a lot.
Yeah. I can agree with that
Yeah.
because I don't think that black people, black Africans love farming as much as they should. Do you?
Yeah, most black people they don't like farming. They just want to work and get paid.
Yeah.
But they don't want to. The thing is, they don't want to invest their own money. That's the problem.
Mm,
They would rather go to work and get paid month end.
I got you. Well, listen,
Yeah,
Johan, this has been very helpful. Thank you so much for being here. I'm usually here on
thank you.
Friday nights. I would love to have you back again because you bring a different. I need to know this information, and you bring a
Yeah,
good
okay.
side to the story. You bring a good point.
Yeah, I'll definitely come. I'll
All right.
definitely come.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Have
you.
a good night.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye bye.
Good night.
So, listen, guys, there you have it. We're not totally, what was I saying? We're not totally out of line. See, somebody can relate to what I'm saying, but I do want to know. I do want to know from my South African family. Do you think that the African Americans are traumatized? Do you think that our mentality is harmful or hurtful? Excuse me, harmful or helpful? Harmful or hurtful, right? Harmful or helpful? I would love to know that because, again, we grew up in a place where things move fast. Again, like I said, we didn't know. We just adjusted to where we live and where we lived. Here, we're here now. We're going to adjust to where we are. But understand that you are dealing with a different type of American. I can say this. This is what I'm saying. We're not the typical Americans that are in the United States now. We're not the ones that are going to be fighting with the police officer in the Walmart. We're not. We're not going to do that. We're not going to be the ones that are violent and aggressive. We're going to try to be the ones that are bridging the gap with you all and having you all as part of our families and us making, becoming family with you guys. Because this is what we wanted. We don't want to fight anymore. We don't want to argue anymore. We don't want Donald Trump anymore. although Donald Trump was not the reason why we left America, okay? Y'all know that. But I'm just saying, we're just looking for a different life. We're trying to be laid back. Listen, I appreciate the 80s. And I've said so many times that living here in South Africa reminds me so much of the 80s. But when I hear South Africans say that, hey, look, they are traumatized by some of their interactions with the police, and two, that, you have what is it, superiority complex, you are, all of that. I have to check myself and say, hey, because I do question things. I do. I do question. I don't want anyone to have to not have lights and water, so I do question it. Why y'all don't have any lights and water? Some might say that that's like, I think I'm superior. I don't think I'm superior. I just think you should have lights and water. So again, it's understanding each other. And and sometimes when I read a lot of the comments, it actually comes off like, don't threaten us. We don't mean to be naive or dumb to what you're saying. It's just that we coming from a place where things are a bit different. So if I'm asking for help. Help us understand, because listen, I even take it back to us buying a car. I told you guys about the story where we got the VIN number and we was going to do car verify on the vehicle, and the VIN number brought back a 2019. So if a VIN number brought back a 2019, why are you selling me this car for a 2020? It was my understanding, and speaking to some South Africans, that is just the way we do it here. Y'all, that's not the way you do it. It's not.
Dearly beloved,
It's a 2019. Now, if you accept that full well knowing that there is a discrepancy, then that is totally on you. But that is not the truth. And I just think sometimes, it's going to take a lot for me to become that passive. Actually, I probably will never be that passive. I'm going to always say, no, the VIN number says 2019. Now, what we have to question, as this is me questioning, y'all ain't got to question it. I'm trying to figure out, is the person selling the car, are you trying to run a scam on me? Or are you just believing what you say? I don't know, but I'm going to question that. And I do know and understand that some South Africans have told me they wouldn't question it. They will be like, oh, okay. And so that's different. That's just different. It could be that it's access. We grew up with a lot of access. And I've already said we did grow up with all the things that we needed. So y'all have some patience with us. I definitely love the information. As of 1st April, South African Police Service will begin piloting a body camera aiming to enhance transparency and accountability in law enforcement. Listen, we had a whole bunch of corruptness going on in the United States. And what had to happen is every police officer has a body camera. And that body camera reveals a whole lot of things that, were told to us it was just this way. They did this and this happened and they did that and this happened. And a whole lot of people were deleted because people just wanted to delete them. But when you have that body camera and there's transparency and it just makes it just does what it's supposed to do. Now you're gonna have people that don't adjust to it very well. I mean, because not all officers are bad officers, but it has, it sees everything the officer sees and it hears everything the officer says, and vice versa. And I'm so surprised that police officers haven't had that up until now, because that is a tough job. I mean, I get this, it's different. I get that it's different here, but that is a tough job. Typically, I'm from a place where people don't like police. They don't like them. They don't want to be around them just because. Now, I'm not that person, but there are people that will tell you they don't like the police. They just don't like them. And if one police did something bad, they all did something bad. And y'all know how crazy that is. But again, that is the mentality of some people that lived in the United States. If a police officer did this, all of them did it. So it's kind of ridiculous, but that's where we come from. And thank you so much for that information, Ashford. Thank you for the hearts. Listen, I didn't quite understand what you said, your comment there, but I was going to ask you about that. Can you roll that back for me, Mr. Boss? I think he said, that's just, what was the comment? I can't remember. Right, somewhere right in there. We all know that the police have to do their job, but we are not the ones to talk to. And I think you mean we're, as citizens, maybe you all are not the people that I should ask on what is the perfect way to do a traffic stop. Is that what you're saying? If that is what you're saying, I would say, okay. But I'm still gonna ask. It's gonna be somebody out there that's gonna give me something. Look, again, like I said, I wouldn't be the person to ask normally either, because I've never been stopped. But there is a way that is a traffic stop should be handled, and there's probably instructions out there. I can definitely Google it, but there is a way that it can be handled professionally, that everybody is being handled successfully. Let's say it like that. And again, going back to that video, I'm not saying in any way that young man was, as a matter of fact, I would tell you that young man was off, because he actually jumped out the car and went and approached the police officer, which is a major no, you don't do that. But again, he had to feel a certain amount of comfort in order to do that, or he knew that nothing would happen, or, that was not the thing to do. So we all in agreement with that. But today I'm just really talking about the mentality, because I want to know. I want to know what you all see versus, is this really the way it is? Or is it just where, the place that we actually grew up as minorities? Y'all have to understand that, it's only like 13% African Americans in the United States. 13? I think it's 9 million people or something like that. It's a lot, y'all. I haven't done the numbers in a long time. But we only represent about 13%. Or is it 13 million? We represent 9%. We're just a small amount of people. African Americans are a small amount in the United States. So we're definitely the minority. And being so, listen, I could go to school and out of 30 people, it would be 2 of us that were black. So, that's just what we're used to. I'm living in a place now where everybody looks the same to me. I don't feel like I should have any problems. I don't think there should be any issues. I actually feel like we should all want the same thing. So, I don't know how that looks particularly, but feels, or I don't know how somebody would reciprocate that. But I feel like we all look the same, so we should all expect and want the same things. Now, I could be so wrong about that, but that is just my thoughts. When I look around and we all looking, and I'm thinking, I'm home. This is family. I wouldn't think that, they think that because you did this, that you are better than them, or I'm looking at you all and thinking, because how would I even come to that? But I realized, sometimes things would be different. I understand. Tato says, Dumla SVU, 13%. I thought there was more than that. No. Tato? Tato. Tot.
T-H.
Thought. Thoughto. If we're saying that correctly or incorrectly, please forgive us, but we're going to get it right. Yeah, 13%. It's not many African Americans in the United States at all. We're a small number. But yeah. So we have to watch our mentality, and just to hear that some of you all think that we've been traumatized, or just to hear it being called out that way is very helpful, because we just think this is what we're used to, so to hear it be, this is our nature now, this is how I'm going to respond now. We got to check ourselves, and we don't want to be that way. We don't want to give off that. Now look, I ain't got nothing to do with the young man that was in the car. He may have been a bit traumatized by the police for some different reasons at some other times. I don't know. I'm speaking for myself and those that I know of that have migrated from the United States that are here now. It is a person that is looking for something different. We're not looking for the chaos and all the arguments and all the corruptness that came with the United States that we lived in and that we know of. We're looking for something else. I don't even think we're trying to involve ourselves in the chaos or anything or corruptness that goes on here. I don't even think we're trying to involve ourselves in that. I think we're just trying to live a chill, retired life. This is my thoughts. Most of us. There may be some that are doing something different, but I think most of us are ready to relax. So definitely, when we asking questions, teach us. Tell us what does that look like? How does this differ? What can I do different? Definitely let us know. Definitely let us know. But yeah, this is why we're talking about the mentality. And again, we're just trying to bridge the gap. It came from the video, and there are some. Listen, if I really think about it, if y'all got social media, y'all can go on there and just see all this traumatizing stuff that the United States is going through. Even right now, the president is not giving the United States citizens any type of peace. There's not no peace going on. We're just waiting. They're about to explode, most of them. I do question it myself. When I see young ladies, especially a young woman, interacting with the police, and she just losing her mind, yelling and screaming and hollering, I do wonder what is going on. They look like they're darn near possessed. I asked myself that question too. And that's just like a pressure cooker that we've lived in, or that they're living in. And, hopefully it changes, but I don't think it will. But again, there's a lot of us that have moved out, and we moved out for a reason. We're here now, and we're just looking for a better life. I mean, y'all may not understand that, because one of my number one questions is, you moved from there to here? Yeah, see, I happen to enjoy the things that South Africa has to offer. I realize that there are some issues here, but I happen to enjoy what it offers. The lifestyle that I live I have a good life, and I don't have any complaints. I do know that there is a lot of problems with certain things, and I just wish the best for my people, and hopefully it works itself out in my time, that I can see these things work itself out, because like I said, this is a very wealthy country, and you can actually see it. You can actually see the wealth, and some things I just don't understand, but hopefully those things work themselves out. Definitely. I'm hoping. But anyway, Mr. Boss has dropped the link. I have been here for quite some time. Y'all have been very interactive. I love the fact that Johannes actually hit the link and cammed up. I love the comments in the comment section. But it's Friday night. And it's 10:13 here, and what time is it in the United States? Around 4. So guess what? You guys are about to get off from work. Black Man, it was so good to see you. Lost in translation. It was good to see all you guys. Listen, we are on two totally different planes right now. I'm going to try to make y'all lives one night or one day. Don't worry, I'm going to try. But look, it'll be like 3 o'clock in the morning. Y'all just be getting started. I can't hang. I'll be trying, but I can't hang. But listen, if there is no one else that wants to add to this, I am still, listen, the video is going to be out there. I know I'm going to get a lot of comments. So I'm still want to know about the African American mentality. Is it helpful or is it hurtful? Y'all can definitely go ahead and chime in and leave your notes. And thank you so much for being here. Give me a thumbs up. You already have for coming into the live. And if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, make sure you do that. Y'all have a good night.
No, I always gotta go. Playing house, this ain't a home with my soul. On the road, I can't this ain't a home with my soul on the road.
I can't sit still for a minute. I'm so dead set on indifference. Keep it Charlie, stay down with them Dickens. Let's get around like it's the 80s. Right round, let's keep spinning. Let's keep playing these games that we don't want to finish. And I'm sorry if that sounds a bit bitter, but I am to the core. You want the whole damn thing, then you ask him for more. You want that old jive swing, you take up all of the floor. I'm fine with standing at the edge of the door. You be the life of the party, I blend in with the core. You drink it all to Bacardi, till the bottle's no more. Let's take it back before this started. You want the love, I don't got it. Got my soul on the road. You screaming, stay, please don't go. Don't think it's in me to listen to foe. It's so different with distance we roam into zones where nothing get hurt anymore. I just wish I was home when I stepped through front door, but instead I'm alone and completely unsure. And even though you're screaming out with the best of intentions, I don't get it. Why do you always gotta ask me to
Stay. Why you always gotta go? Playing house, this ain't a home with your soul on the road. Say, why you always gotta go? Playing house, this ain't a home with your soul on the road.
See, I've been lost in my thoughts, and my thoughts stay too obscure to usher off. Sorry, Mom, I just thought you were my world. Now you're not. And I'm just sitting, smoking, sloping in a daze, cause my days ain't been the same since I drove here away. I remember the way you wrote letters in blue ink. You and me was in love. Look about what your crew think. I know your moms probably think I'm a bastard. Your pops probably wanna beat my to death and take a in my casket. But I got sick of fighting, bickering, fussing over nothing, cussing. Instead of watching the death of discussions that we once had, days that we once spent in the backseat of our cars, reading poets at sunset. It's funny how love can fall out the foreground, get pushed into the back of your mind. We used to twist a spliff and laugh and relax. Now you crying, and I'm trying to find the reasons. So I ask, does forever ever happen, or is it always fade to black?
I can't stay. No, I always gotta go. Playing house, this ain't a home with my soul on the road. I can't stay. No, I always gotta go. Playing house, this ain't a home with my soul on the road.